the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
They're now in very good shape, taking care of business against UTEP. And I mean, it's what I said on the pod all week, which was, and the reason that I was joking with you, where I was like, I'm not picking any of these upsets. Like, I'm making the case for these, especially where I was very adamant about Oklahoma having the best shot. And I said on the pod, I thought Oklahoma had the best shot of upsetting anybody, and people are penciling in Bama, and I was like, I don't know. When Bama, when Jalen Milroe does not run the ball well, it's a completely different Alabama team. And you saw that on Saturday and what happened there. But on Tennessee side of things, they're now in a really, really interesting spot, because I wrote about this a lot today. It's very unlikely that Tennessee is not in if they take care of business against Vanderbilt. Like, that would be it's just less than 1% chance of them not getting in if they win on Saturday. And Saturday is gonna be interesting. Vanderbilt's lost 3 of their last 4, but it's in Vandy. And I texted you, I think, on Saturday, of like, SEC teams went 1-5 on the road at other SEC venues this weekend. The one win was who was it? I'm trying to remember now.
This past weekend,
was it Missouri at Mississippi State? Yeah, it was Missouri at Mississippi State.
Okay,
that was it. Everyone else lost. Vanderbilt's not the Vanderbilt of old. They're banged up down the stretch. Diego Pavio's banged up. The offense isn't what it was, but they still gave LSU a game this weekend in Baton Rouge, and it's a huge game for Tennessee. Obviously, Heupel's undefeated there, but you remember what happened 2 years ago. South Carolina, if you win that game and you don't lay an egg in Columbia, you're on your way to the CFP with how everything unfolded there, even after the Georgia loss. This kind of feels like that in a way, where there's just, like, it took a long time to get over that loss. Like, that one really hurt, and it was pretty brutal, because it was just such a special season for Tennessee, and then you lose Hendon in the game. It was a nightmare scenario for Tennessee. But that was a CFP opportunity. Last year doesn't go according to plan. Never really was in play. Felt like a rebuilding, retooling year. This year, year 4, really nice schedule. You're undefeated at home again. You've lost 1 home game in the last 3 years. Heupel is doing a really good job in a lot of ways. There is so much sneaky pressure on this game at noon in Nashville, because nothing would please Vanderbilt more than playing spoiler and ending Tennessee's CFP chances, because I don't think they're getting in if they lose this game, but even with any more chaos. There is so much pressure now. Like, there is something good to know that, like, if we win, we're in. You don't have to wonder all week, like, oh, even if we play well and beat Vanderbilt, are we going to get that spot? Because if it was all chalk this weekend, Tennessee would not have a guarantee of beating Vanderbilt, and then what that would be mean for them whether or not they make the playoff. Right now, and what we'll see on Tuesday, is that Tennessee will likely be in the mix, and if they win on Saturday, they'll stay in. It's interesting, because I think Vanderbilt is a bad matchup for Tennessee in some ways, and a good matchup for Tennessee in some ways. Time of possession, that sort of thing. Vanderbilt, I think, will play Tennessee tougher than they have in the previous 3 years. I also just think it is such a big game. This is the biggest game in the Heupel tenure, because you can't drop this game, and there's just so much pressure on this program to take the next step here in year 4 that it's all laid out, man. Like, the offense has been so up and down this year. You have this elite defense that's only given up 20 plus points once this season. You got to take care of business here, man. This is such a big game, and if you don't beat Vanderbilt with everything aligning this weekend, it's a gut punch of all gut punches. I'm curious what the vibe is around the program all week. I'm curious how Vol fans are feeling going into Saturday. I think most are pretty confident, but it's in play. Like we just saw, one road team won in the SEC this weekend. Tennessee, I think they're going to win on Saturday, but if they don't, I really worry about where things head in a hurry going into Sunday, because that's just a tough one to come back from. That is a tough one it won't be this easy. You're on the playoff looking, you will be on the outside looking in next year. You got to go to Gainesville. Look at where Florida's at. You haven't won there in forever. You go back to Alabama. You haven't won there in forever. You'll get Georgia still on the schedule. It's going to be very hard for this Tennessee team to make the playoff next year. Even if Nico's a lot better, even if the offense is a lot better, it's not going to be as easy of a schedule. You have to take advantage of the opportunity in front of you. There is just so much pressure on this team to take care of business and beat Vanderbilt on Saturday that I don't know, man. I might be pacing around my living room all day long because it's such a big game. And you texted me like the Vols are in the CFP late on Saturday night, and it's like they can't look at that this way at all week long. You got to take care of business. I mean, this Vanderbilt team beat Alabama. Like they beat Alabama.
No, that's true.
It's not a guarantee, man.
Vanderbilt. It's not going into like any other environment in the whole conference. You know what I mean? It's not like 80,000 people or something like that.
I mean, there'll be more Vol fans in the building.
Tennessee fans, yeah, than Vanderbilt fans. So it should still be an easy game. It's just this is honestly I enjoy hearing this because I feel like Tennessee fans are like got cocky like too quickly, and I'm like, you guys should be scarred. You guys should be like, I don't know, like with how long it's been now for Tennessee. So I'm enjoying hearing this because in 2022, I think that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because that was, I mean, with how Texas TCU ended up losing the conference championship, like that would have been Tennessee's spot to get into the college football playoff. And all you had to do is beat South Carolina and Vanderbilt in that season. So the fact that this would be an easier road to get into an easier playoff field of 12 teams and you do the same thing, that's, I think, why it would be so brutal. But yeah, I think you're just scarred now and you're just like worried because I don't think this is even really a big game. Is it? Like, is Vanderbilt, I know this is like Vanderbilt's Super Bowl, but like, I don't know. It feels like a game that could also be over by halftime. Like, I know Tennessee has not been dominant, in a lot of games this year, but I don't know. I just feel like it's still Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt, they gave LSU a game last week too. I don't know. Maybe it's just me
they gave Texas a game.
Habitually disrespecting Vanderbilt, but I don't know. I'm just not I don't think they should give Tennessee a game.
I would be surprised if they don't give Tennessee a game. I mean,
what's a game? This is like a one-score game in the fourth quarter?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I don't know. I would
Tennessee
be
on the road this year. I mean, their 2 losses. They have one passing play over 20 yards. Like the path is there. Like if Tennessee doesn't connect on some downfield stuff against Vanderbilt, this is going to be a game because the offense doesn't. If you're not going to connect on some explosive plays on the road, it's just going to be a dogfight. Like you're going to find yourself in a dogfight with Vanderbilt in the fourth quarter. And I think Tennessee's defense will handle Vanderbilt pretty well, but I do think this is going to be low scoring. Like my gut is this is going to be close in the fourth quarter. And this is like a 28-24 Tennessee win or something like that. Like this, Tennessee might win, like kick a game-winning field goal type deal. And it's just, I don't think Tennessee's running away with this. I could be wrong. Tennessee and Heupel have done well against Vanderbilt. My gut is this is going to be nauseating on Saturday, and Vanderbilt's going to make them earn it. And right now I'm still saying Tennessee wins because I can't even, I'm not there. I can't put myself in that headspace of like if Tennessee loses because it's such a big game and it won't get that same kind of look I think on Saturday with so much else going on around the conference this week. But what this game means for this conference and what it means for the Heupel era is just so big. Because I just don't know. The vibes will be all like the bowl game and everything else. If you go from the CFP to like the Citrus Bowl, you lose to like there's just, I mean, it's like hard to come back from it. Like it's just hard to like bounce back. Like it's hard to get back up off the mat when you have it right there because you just don't know when you're going to have it laid out for you this nicely. So there's just so much pressure.
It's also just negative pressure because a win almost means nothing. It's like a win doesn't really get Tennessee any closer to a national championship, but a loss is just like, what the hell is happening? Like we should be in the college football playoff and we lose to Vanderbilt. Like what the hell? Like, wait, do we need to look at Heupel? What is going on?
I mean, it will be chaos if they don't win this game. The fan base, I mean, love this fan base. If Heupel and Tennessee loses to Vanderbilt, like Twitter and everything else is just going to be the post game radio calls on Tony Basilio, the fifth quarter, it's going to be unlike anything we've seen in a long time, I think, because of just how everything has broken your way over the last 2 weeks. You get Vanderbilt.
Reasonable schedule this year too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to be favored to make the CFP next year. I think they're going to they'll have to upset some folks in.
So are those people justified for feeling that way?
I mean, you're looking at like year 6 being the earliest potentially if you blow this of like making the CFP. Like, and then hold on.
Year 6. What is this year? Year 4?
4. Mm-hmm.
Why would next year not be a year?
I don't think they're gonna be favored. They would have to win.
We're talking about Nico's junior year now.
No, redshirt sophomore.
But potentially one good year in going to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean that's for sure on the table. That's what I'm saying. This is the year. I think next year is gonna be significantly more difficult for Tennessee to make the CFP. They're replacing a lot on the offensive line. They're replacing a lot on the defensive line.
It's this same conference schedule, though, so that's not...
No, but it's flipped. It's on the road. Like, you go to Gainesville, you go to Tuscaloosa, and you still have Georgia at home. Those are 3 games they will not be favored in, I don't think.
That's true. The one team that they can't beat in Knoxville.
Yep. That's what
Is that the only team they've lost to? Heupel's lost to in Knoxville?
Well, no, in the last 3 years.
Since 2022?
Yeah, because he lost to Ole Miss and Pittsburgh in 21 at home.
Okay, the yellow mustard game.
And Georgia, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Green, that's all I've got. I hope I did not put too much doom and gloom for Vol fans. I'm just like where it's at. It's like it's not doom and gloom. I'm just setting the scene here for what this week is. Really.
That's definitely setting the scene. I don't think it's likely. Vanderbilt is fine. Like they're not good. So what do you think neutral site Arkansas Vanderbilt is next week? What's the point spread on Arkansas Vanderbilt if they play on Saturday?
Neutral site?
Yeah. What's the
Arkansas 7.5, 6.5?
I don't really think they're better than Arkansas, and I would say the stadium wise is giving Arkansas way more points than it's giving Vanderbilt. Just in terms of rowdy environment, I don't think Tennessee should struggle in this game. What was because the LSU game, it was obviously one score, but they made it look closer at the end, right? Did they score late to cut it to one touchdown? I might be making that up.
I'm not sure, but I mean, South Carolina though, they're playing good football. So you see the 28-7 in Vanderbilt the previous week. The difference there is South Carolina's playing really good. South Carolina's playing like a borderline top 6 team right now. Tennessee's not really playing like that. Their defense has been great, and they bounced back this week. James Pierce had a great game, 2 sacks, good final potential game. And Nealon, Boo Carter was sensational again in punt returns, and special teams been good. Dylan Sampson in the running game was solid, but Tennessee's longest pass play was 25 yards, and their longest run play was somewhere in the 20s. So the 56-0 did not include any explosive plays again.
Yeah, that's fair. And Vanderbilt scored with 5 minutes left to cut it to 24-17, and then LSU was able to just...
Texas had to earn it in Vanderbilt. Mizzou had to earn it over Vanderbilt. It's just, we'll see.
No, that's fair.
College football rankings predictions, Matt Green. What say you before we dive into our final storylines here from the week that was?
All right, rankings predictions. This is what I got for this week. I think it's not what I think. This is not what I think it should be. This is what I think it's going to be. I think they're going to have Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State in the top 4. Not the 4 seeds, but Notre Dame at 5, Miami at 6, and then probably Georgia at 7. And then I don't know where they're going to put Indiana, maybe 8, 9, and Tennessee 9.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.